Ladies and gentlemen, buckle your seatbelts. The Jesus candle is burning. The incense is turned on. Does that make sense? Probably not. What's up, you guys? Gene here. Paper Call Blueprint. Welcome to the Paper Call Blueprint channel. This is episode 2 of my Paper Call Blueprint podcast. Hope everybody's doing good. It's Monday, June 17th. Doing pretty good. Paused for the day, capped out on my stuff. Not bad, $600-700 profit today for a paper call. Can't complain. This episode's brought to you by Kohona iced coffee. I got this grocery store down the street. It's called Grocery Outlet. You guys have one of those where you live? It's one of those like consolidation stores, but for groceries. So when there's overstock in other grocery stores, everything kind of ends up at the grocery outlet, and beverages and stuff are always super cheap, super cheap. And so I have a little mini fridge in my mini bar, and it's just typically it's loaded with a bunch of stuff. You get I look like a baller, and you go spend $20 at the grocery store. And, you stock up. It's great. Always having a beverage is good. Anyway, hey, I just wanted to say hi, see how everybody's doing in the world of paper call, shoot the breeze with you. I thought about this over the last 7 days and how I want to structure this show. And I've decided that I am not going to use any computer stuff other than to record the videos. And then I'll also maybe do some rudimentary research. But I thought, well, if this becomes an audio thing, like, you're on iTunes and you're downloading this podcast, it serves no purpose to have video in that, right? So, because I know last time I'd mentioned, I'm like, oh man, I need to show you guys some stuff. Let me connect my laptop and everything. But I'm going to reserve that for some other stuff. Plus, most of it's all in the Paper Call Blueprint course anyway. So there's no sense in like trying to break out and teach a bunch of stuff that I've already taught. So if you're interested in the Paper Call Blueprint course, check the description. There's some links in there that take you to the course. There's also a coupon in there to teach you how to do paper call the way I do it. Make up to $1,000 or $2,000 a day in revenue, and shoot for 100% ROI, right? So looking at $500 to $1,000 a day on profits, depending on what's going on. Very simple, nothing crazy. You're not going to lose sleep over this stuff. If you're like me, you like to simplify things, make things easy and repeatable, and that's what the Paper Call Blueprint teaches you. So, go check it out. I think it's super affordable. I mean, geez, what do I charge? I charge basically $500 for the course, but then there's a coupon. There's a coupon in the description, knocks 30% off. And I'm literally making that plus usually, I'm roughly generating around $5,000 to $6,000 in profits every week right now in just paper call. So let that kind of sink in. Not saying that you guys are going to be able to do the exact same thing, but I'll show you how I do it, and then you go out there and do your thing. Teach a man to fish. Am I right? Okay, so anyway, today I want to talk a little bit about offers. I want to talk a little bit about some Google Ads pitfalls, because, again, I do Google Ads call-only campaigns successfly. Mind you, I dabble in a bunch of other things, but the stuff I talk about here are the things that I've tried and I know that work, or I've tried and I know they're really bad. They're really bad. And I just want to share that with you. I think if anything, you walk away from this little show, this little podcast, really you walk away with some knowledge that helps you save money as opposed to spending it and burning it up, because Google has no problem taking your money. Buyers, networks have no problem taking your money. And sometimes, most of the time, practically all of the time in this industry, you're going to find that the cards are stacked against you, the publisher, the guy who is selling phone calls, because you are out there buying phone calls from Google or wherever else, Facebook, and then you're selling those phone calls to a network or a client, a buyer, And so you got to put your money on the line, and you have to put your ability, your optimizing ability on the line. and come up with some profit, right? I mean, that's the whole plan. And I harp on this a lot. Over the years, the playing field has changed a lot. Google is trying really hard to kind of force you to get into their smart bidding strategies or their automated bidding strategies, more of like an artificial intelligence, machine learning approach to doing things. And where the disconnect happens, and it's taken me a little while to kind of like have that aha moment with Google Ads. What they want us to do and what a very subculture, a very tight niche marketing person like a call-only publisher would do. There's a disconnect. And I had to spend a lot of money and learn the hard way and to kind of come to this point where I realized that I have to just avoid the smart or automated bidding strategies. And I'll talk to you about that in a second. But first, let's talk about offers a little bit. So in case you don't know, I spend all of my time now on Palo for pay-per-call offers. That's the only pay-per-call offer or network I work with. That's because I am really close with the team over there. I know them all really, really well. They're all my friends. I have been working with them for years now. And they have the best offers, in my opinion, with the best payouts and the best durations, and we've grown together a lot. And I think a big reason why their offers are where they're at is because they've gotten feedback from publishers. They've gotten feedback from me, talking about what's good and what's bad. And I don't think a lot of networks have that kind of compass. And as a result of that. The revenues have gone up everywhere on the Palo side because, well, I'm not going to take credit for that, for not even for a second. But I think knowing that, like when you're setting up an offer, like on the network side, getting into it, knowing that it's not syndicated, that you got a reputable buyer, that maybe the network becomes the article of record, right, or the advertiser of record. The AOR of that brand that they're going to sponsor, that you're getting this kind of direct to buyer relationship that helps the publisher become more successful. Because what happens a lot of times with networks, with pay-per-call networks, and CPA networks, is they end up at these kind of syndicated websites like Has Offers and whatnot, and it's a marketplace for buyers and sellers of data and then of course offers and so forth. So having the ability to just jump into like your Has Offers account and turn on a syndicated offer is easy and great for the network. However, there's a lot of problems that come with that. For one, syndicated offers are at the control of the buyer. So if they change something in the syndication path, it all kind of flows downhill. So it's like you may be running an offer in in all of the U.S. and all of a sudden they lose a bunch of states. That will all get syndicated down, and sometimes the network that you're running traffic to gets blindsided. They have no idea that those things happen. And sometimes a good buyer will give the network a heads up, but a lot of times it doesn't happen. So it's trying to basically boils down to like stay away from networks that get in the habit of syndicating their offers, and they don't do the due diligence. They don't put their feet down on the ground and work hard at finding new buyers and having direct relationships with them. And I think that's where Palo goes above and beyond. Is they're aggressively out there looking for new relationships. They're tapping into new industries, and they're just doing things different as opposed to like the cookie cutters out there. And so if you're a publisher, then it makes sense to be working closer with a company like that, because one, they value your feedback, and then number two, they're not out there trying to screw you over. What I've kind of noticed over a lot of the years, what I've noticed over the few years I've been doing pay-per-call, is that most of the offers are not good for call-only campaigns like Google Ads, high-intent search, right? This is somebody on their phone looking to talk to somebody on the phone, right? Whether it's an emergency plumber or trying to find a dentist or talk to somebody about insurance, or maybe it's a mental health or addiction thing where it's like you're trying to just get into some treatment. These are things that are highly relevant to a pay-per-caller. And so it's really important to kind of focus in on those areas. And I guess I lost my train of thought. This is another thing about these videos is like you get talking about something and then all of a sudden it's like, what the hell was I talking about? Anyway, so the whole pay-per-call landscape has shifted a lot because there's two ways that you can get kind of screwed here. You can get screwed to the predatory kind of buyer that knows the ecosystem well, knows there's a high churn rate of publishers, so there's always new people, new fresh blood coming into this network, this industry, to give the whole money-making marketing thing a shot, and not everybody makes it. So a lot of people are, just kind of, they're out of here after they burn up a couple of grand or something. And there are buyers, just, nobody will admit this, but there are buyers that are standing by, ready to take advantage of those people. You see it a lot in home services. Anytime you see a syndicated home services offer, I guarantee you it's probably going to fail. I was just going to say, I guarantee it's going to fail. It's not going to work on Google search for sure. The competition's too high. You got too many people running it. Too many people just abusing the keywords that are high intent, that are actually the money words. And then you're going to find out too that not all your calls get picked up. If it's a zip code kind of campaign, you're going to find out that most of the zip codes on the list work, but then there's going to be a bunch that don't, and you're like, what's up with that? And then you're going back and forth in networks, and it just becomes a big pain. So, you got to learn to kind of stay away from those campaigns, stay away from those buyers. And the best way to get, information about whether a campaign or an offer is syndicated or not is just to start having conversations with your affiliate managers or whoever it is that you're communicating with at the network you're working with. That'll save you a lot of trouble and a lot of time. Just try to avoid those campaigns altogether because they're trouble. They're just nothing but trouble. You rarely go, you can really scale something up like that. In fact, I've never seen it. I've never seen somebody go, hey, I'm running this eLocal pest control campaign. Let's scale it. Like nobody's ever said that. It's like more like, this is bullshit. I quit. Let's go find something else to test. So again, let me give you 3 good offers right now that are on the Palo network, and I want to just pull these up here. Let's see here. So I'm going to give you 3 legal offers that I have ran successfully up until recently, where now I'm starting to kind of I'm starting to pause more, mainly because my quality scores are so bad now that that the traffic that I do get is pretty expensive. Had I done it differently, I don't know if I could. Yeah, this kind of becomes kind of this philosophical question where I start double guessing, second guessing myself, and asking myself like, what could I have done differently, as opposed to just kind of giving you guys all the info. So there are three offers on Palo right now. There's 3 legal offers. All have a 30-second duration. All are 24/7, which is really great, and all of them are nationwide, and all of them pay out really well. The trick is being able to kind of dial in a campaign. It's not about how easy the conversions are. It's about how conservative you are with your budget and how smart you are with your bidding. So you can knock out a few conversions when the time is right, but not go broke when the time is not right. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, like I can give it so there's a Roundup campaign. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but so Monsanto creates this weed killer called Roundup, right? Everybody probably knows about Roundup. We all have used it in the past. Anyway, they're getting the shit suit out of them right now across the country, and they're not winning. They're losing. They're losing these lawsuits, and this, we're talking billions of dollars over who knows how many years that they're going to be sued, because a precedent was set earlier in 2018, and in 2018, somebody sued and won for like 200 something odd million dollars. And that just kind of like paved the path for lawsuits. So right now, there's a 30-second duration, 24/7 roundup offer on Palo that pays out either 95 or 120 bucks. I get paid 120 bucks, but that may be because I'm running it on the internal side. That may also be the public payout too. Cost per click right now is around $25 to $30 per click. That's if you're bidding kind of like on the keywords like roundup lawsuit, obviously, that is an obvious winner. And that's, my quality scores are literally 1 out of 10 on those. It doesn't matter what the CTR is. It doesn't matter what, the quality of the ad. Google just, man, as soon as I created and launched that campaign, quality score 1 out of 10, you suck. And I'm like, oh, come on, right? So the first day it was great, lots of traffic as it tested. It was a profitable campaign. I was crushing it. And then Google gave me some really bad quality scores, and things started to go south from there. And ever since, it's been kind of like I get in there and I touch it and I tweak it and I play with it and get the traffic turned on. But when you're dealing with $25 per click, all it takes is a few of those bad clicks to or just completely erase any profits or revenue for the week. So if you want to be a good data cruncher, a good data analyzer, go run this offer and see if you can make it work, because there is definitely legs on this offer. It's just a matter of driving the right traffic and being able to make Google happy. That's the big takeaway right now. It's just the Google's so fickle. Like, they have this idea of like how you should run it, and then you and I probably have a different way of thinking. We don't want to use landing pages, and it brings me to this like other kind of like aha moment I had the other day where it's funny. A good marketing person has a strong ability, persuasive ability, right? Like good ad copy, and they understand like what is required for a funnel, for a funnel to convert. And I think good marketing people are rare. I'm not one of them. Believe me, I'm not one of them. Good marketing people are rare, especially if they can work across multiple industries. But you're probably going to find good marketing people in very specific industries, and they know their industry. That's because it's the power of persuasion and understanding your customer and so forth. Takes some work, and it takes some money, and it takes some time, and it takes some focus, because you got to reiterate your funnel until you kind of get this thing working properly. And I like to think of what I do as a Google call only person as more of a data analyzer. Like I'm more into the data, and I figure out how to optimize the data based off of like the campaign I'm running, because there is no landing page, there's no persuasive ad copy except for what's in the ad itself. And so we're working with data, we're working with spreadsheets, and we're working, the ad copy and the persuasiveness of the campaign is kind of trivial. I mean, of course you need good ad copy, and of course ad copy can make or break a campaign, but for the most part, it's like your ability to optimize a campaign, your ability to kind of like spot the low-hanging fruit, or understand the intent of your buyers when they're on Google and they're doing a search, and where they're at in their life with respect to whatever it is that they're trying to do, whether it's to take out a loan, or consolidate debt, or get into addiction treatment or something like that. It's like understanding where they're at in their path will make you better. Will make you a better marketer for sure. But the data really tells you everything. So the better data analyzer you are, the more success you're gonna have on Google. So there's that one caveat, and that kind of makes me think twice about like hitting other traffic sources. Because other traffic sources require you to be both a data analyzer and a marketer, and we all need to become better marketers. That's for sure. Especially as Google Ads, continues to like saturate. More people pile on, more people figure out what works for them, more brands, of course, pick up and start competing with publishers in other industries and so forth, and at your ability as kind of that media buyer, that performance based kind of data analyzer, your skills will be the things that make you money, not so much your ability to write persuasive ad copy. And so, like, with that being said, it just kind of like dawned on me. I'm like, man, that's a scary thing, and it's also a reassuring thing, because the more specialized you become, the better you are at defeating your competition. But also, the more specialized you become, the more pigeonholed you become, and more stuck you become inside your little box. It's like, jump off and go Facebook. It's like you don't have to go to Facebook. Just stay in Google. Go run a Google display campaign. You might have a successful Google Ads campaign, but I guarantee you, Google Display, you might as well be a completely different marketing person, because the intent's different. You need landing pages. You need more complicated funnels. You need remarketing. There's a lot that goes into them. Very rarely are you just going to convert a cold lead. The offer has to be incredible, and the funnel has to be frictionless, right? And it kind of dawned on me, because lately I've been dabbling again in display testing, because last week I talked about testing landing pages with like a quiz funnel, just a very simple 4 or 5 question survey that helps pre-qualify the buyer or the lead, and then you send them to a thank you page with with a call only button and a bunch of good ad copy, hopefully persuasive, and maybe you can get somebody to either call that way, or maybe it's a form fill, and you get them to fill out a form. For the life of me, I spent $200 last week and got two form fills. Those form fills are actually worth pretty good money, like $38 a form. But it was like 2 unicorns, because I haven't been able to, running the same campaign, not touching anything. I haven't been able to repeat that process, and it always seems like the bounce rates are super high on like Google Display and so forth, and you just walk away going like, what's going on here? Like, why are people reading and clicking on the ads? Why are they getting a certain point and then deciding to leave? And that's, again, it just becomes like you got to become a master at that, and that's pretty it's pretty difficult. So I'm not sure where you're coming from, but I guess the moral of the story here is if you're gonna get good at something, just pick something that is working for you. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be profitable right away. But if it's like the one thing that's working for you over anything else, do your best to just stick with it and be patient with it. Avoid the shiny objects. Avoid the traffic sources that aren't going to make you any money. And just become a specialist at what you do in that little niche. And then when you get it figured out, then consider kind of growing as a marketing person somewhere else, like Facebook or something like that. It's like the writing's on the wall. It's like we can't keep doing this call only Google Ads thing like indefinitely. I mean, it's nice to see like campaigns running for years, literally years, but at some point, the AI, the technology is just going to evolve to a point where what we're doing today might not work tomorrow. And that's kind of a scary thing. And you see it with the smart bidding strategies. So pitfall number 1, just try to avoid all the shiny object traffic sources. If you found something that's working for you or starting to work for you, do your best to just stick it out there. Have a big, have a kind of a line in the sand, before you decide to call it quits on that particular traffic source and move on to something else, or whatever it is that you're doing. So that's one pitfall. And then of course the other pitfall, not so much with the display ads, but automated bidding strategies, right? Because we're looking at the future. We're looking at artificial intelligence and machine learning. If you have ran Google ads for any amount of time, that Google reps rotate quarterly, and they all live in fucking Bangladesh, and they constantly harass the hell out of you once a quarter. And really all they do is they get on the phone with you to tell you to add an extension, add a call out extension, or turn on a smart bidding strategy, which doesn't seem to work very well in call only. And I also found out that those smart bidding strategies really only work when you have statistical significance, like high volume campaigns where where the spend is probably going to be more than $1,000 per day. So when you have campaigns that are spending like $1,000 or more a day, then this machine learning stuff usually works pretty well. You don't I say you, but me personally, I don't spend that kind of money every day on Google Ads call only, not with one campaign, not in a million years. I could do it with like a bunch of campaigns, but I have never been able to get the kind of call volume that converts on something that allows me to spend more than $1,000 per day. Not going to happen. So I naturally turned off the smart bidding strategies after failing over and over and over and over, and then scratching my head and thinking it's me, and then listening to these reps tell me I need to turn it back on, and then finally realizing that the most success I get at a call on my call only campaigns, the most success I get come from the manual strategies. Or the manual strategy. I don't even check the enhanced CPC box anymore. It used to be that it would modify your bid up to like 30%. So it would swing up to 30%. So if you bid $1 on a keyword click and you had the little box checked for enhanced CPC, then technically it would automate it so it would bid up to $1.30. So like 30%, right? And then and then of course it's unlimited going in the negative direction. So you could pay as low as like 5 or 10 cents. Not that it would ever happen in a call only campaign, but 5 or 10 cents on the downside, and then up to 30% on the high side. Now they took that 30% thing away, and it's more like a maximize clicks campaign now. So it's more like they'll just pay. Unless I'm misunderstanding, but if you check that little CPC box, it will win you the auction, but it'll pay way higher than 30%. I've seen it double. So I just uncheck that now, because it just seems obvious to me that anytime you use any of those smart bidding strategies, you use the enhanced box on your manual campaigns, that you don't see much of an improvement compared to how much you spend. You always, like I've always seen maybe an increase in conversion rate or conversions, but I've never seen it kind of scale in proportion to my budget. And so now I'm like, well, I'd rather have more ROI and less revenue, then it's always nice to look at the day and say, oh, hey, look, I generated $3,000 in revenue. But when it costs you $2,895 to generate that $3,000, you kind of got to start asking yourself, like, what the hell am I doing? That's usually Google's automated bidding strategies that are doing things like that. It's annoying. So if you're running into trouble and you feel like you're getting stuck in that rut where you're like, these automated bidding strategies aren't working for me, then just turn them off and go straight to manual mode and just take manual control over everything. Because I'm pretty sure it has probably more to do with the amount of spend available. Like, you just can't generate enough traffic unless you're spending an enormous amount of money on those clicks. And I know you're not spending an enormous amount of money on those clicks because you wouldn't be profitable. So there's always a balance. And I guess, like, again, it comes back to like, well, who's Google's ideal, customer on the call side, or on the advertising side. And it's going to be a big, huge brand that doesn't look at how much money they're spending. I mean, it really comes down to that. And if you want mediocre, like, okay results, like $1 in gives you $2.02 out kind of thing, then you spend tons of money and you run a smart bidding strategy, and they'll give you your mediocre results. I've heard a lot of good things about dynamic search ads, but that doesn't work for call only specifically. And on top of that too, you need a fully fleshed out, content rich website, a good brand that's facing with the public for that to work. So if you're a marketing person, a media buyer, you're a publisher, an affiliate, you don't have that kind. You probably don't have that kind of website. So it doesn't. If you do, try it. Try dynamic search. You'll probably get some cheaper traffic, some cheaper search traffic. But anyway, I just wanted to kind of throw those at you. Avoid those automated bidding strategies if you're having trouble. In my course, I call out using Target CPA because when I was writing my course, I was having some major success with target CPA and uploading offline conversion data. And I thought, oh man, this is the game changer. But like 2 weeks go by, and then all of a sudden I'm back to like scratching my head going, what happened to all that volume? You know, what happened to all those impressions? You know, it's all gone now. And so I actually gotta go into my course and make some changes, because I'm pretty much anti-smart bidding strategies right now. Okay, I jump around so much, man. So I talked about that roundup offer, but there's two more. There's a 3M combat earplugs offer that pays out like $35. I want to say $35 on a 30-second call. So between 2001 and 2016, 3M, the big gigantic company 3M, was selling military like combat earplugs to service members, or to the military. And turns out they were defective, and a lot of people ended up with tinnitus and hearing loss as a result of using these earplugs. The sad thing is, and this is the irony of federal government, is they sued 3M, successfully won, and got a bunch of money. However, the people that actually suffer, which are the soldiers, got nothing, had nothing to do with them. Makes sense coming from the federal government that they would do something like that, you know. Citizens get screwed, right? So anyway, the target market here are combat veterans, but you can hit anybody that served in the military from 2001 to 2016, because I was in the military from 1998 to 2006. I've used these. I got hearing loss. I should probably call this offer, and I could probably compensate it because I have documented hearing loss from the military. A lot of people do. A lot of people have documented hearing loss from the military, and this is one of those campaigns that I thought would work great on display, because it's like, how do you actively search for somebody who is in the know about this 3M earplugs lawsuit and is actively searching to speak to a lawyer? You know, you get a few people every day, but it's not big volume, and so really this becomes more of it's the opposite approach. So instead of you engaging them in their search because they are high intent on calling somebody, you're bringing them into the funnel from the top as if this was an awareness campaign. You're raising awareness, so you got to be able to target military veterans, figure out where they're at on the internet, and go, hey, did you know that 3M is getting sued for these earplugs? You may have used these earplugs. You probably have a case. Here's how to get help. Yeah. Of course, my display campaign just, that blew up. Spent, it's like, how is display? It makes no sense to me. It's like you spend $50, you get 500 clicks in like 2 minutes, and the bounce rate is 98%. And you're just like, how does this even, I don't get it. Like, why am I, like, here, just burn my money, will you? Because those campaigns never seem to work. I don't know who uses them. I would love to, I wish there was like a really good like marketing course on display where there was a guy like me who actually does display every day, and he knows how to make it work, and he wants to teach you how to do it. Because that's what I do at pay per call. But I don't see that in like display, and I'd love to learn how to use display. I know there's, obviously it works for somebody. Billions of dollars are being made according to Google. They're making billions. They've been doing it forever. And so somebody's spending billions. I'm literally spending hundreds every day. I'm making good money, man. I mean, I'm not lying. For a guy who just works a couple of hours every week, I mean, you can't complain. $5,000, $6,000 profit every week, like who doesn't want that for 2 hours worth of work, it's doable, it's doable. But, those display things, they just kind of blow me away. I'm just like, how is this shit supposed to work? There could be a button on that page where it just says click here and you'll get free money, and people would bounce 98%. I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. There's that. So there's the 3M earplugs that pays out $35 on a 30-second, 24/7, nationwide. There's the Roundup. It's got the same thing. It pays out either $95 to $120 for a 30-second, 24/7, nationwide. And then there's a hernia mesh recall offer that pays out $40 on a 30-second, 24/7, nationwide. The hernia mesh works pretty good. I'm telling you right now, like between Roundup and hernia mesh, I probably generated about $20,000 in revenue So I'm not lying when I say I've been running these. It's right now. It's just like they're break even, and it's because my quality scores are so bad, and they haven't budged. They just haven't budged. And so that's why I'm throwing these out there to you guys, because I'm like, they work. You gotta set up your campaign a little bit smarter, because what I did somehow managed to just piss Google off to no end, and I've been penalized for it. And I don't know why. You would say, we could all throw out the same like boilerplate like excuses. Well, it's your ad rank. It's write better ad copy, and it's like, man, before the thing went live, it was already shot to shit. So I've been trying to dig myself out of this hole ever since. But you might have better luck. You might have a better established website. You may be a legal publisher that generates this stuff every day, and you're like stumbling upon these offers. You're like, oh wow, I had no idea we had such good offers. These will probably work for lead form fills too. So if you got form fills, we can pipe that in using the leads to call platform on Palo. So that'll just take that form fill, turn it into an SMS, and get the person on the phone that way. These are all good offers. I definitely go check them out. If you're not a Palo publisher, you can sign up using using my URL. I get a little special URL. I get like a tiny percentage of publisher commissions. It adds up over time. So I'm happy to help, because I'm I'm incentivized by Palo to recruit new publishers, especially good ones. People that want to work with good people who like making money and don't like headaches. That's what I'm looking for, and that's probably what you're looking for. Anyway, you can sign up using the application URL in the description. And then of course I got Pay-Per-Call Blueprint, the 2019 version. I'm updated. I got to update it again because my bidding strategy ideas have changed. But if you're getting into this and you want to learn about pay-per-call as a call-only pub who uses Google Ads, then check it out. Thing is like what I tell everybody. I'm like, it takes you 10 minutes to launch a campaign. I mean, it really doesn't take very long to launch a campaign. But that doesn't make you kind of like, it doesn't make you like an expert, right? It doesn't make you experienced. And the only real way to get that experience is either for somebody to show you what not to do and what to do, what to avoid, or you spend a ton of money and you figure it out yourself. I like to think that I've spent a ton of money to figure out a lot of stuff myself, and then on top of that, I've had some guidance as well. And so the smart marketing people, the people that actually want to just get shit done, will buy their time. So they'll be like, okay, Gene teaches this course. It's like $500. It's actually cheaper with a coupon code in the description. I could probably learn all the stuff that he's teaching in this course if I just spent, if I just spent 100 hours scouring the internet. Of course, you got to know what you're looking for, right? So it's all out there. The information, the information is all out there if you know what you're looking for. But anyway, I consolidated all this education all in one spot. It's all in video. I like the video stuff, so there's not a lot of writing. It's more not a lot of writing or reading. It's more about just chilling, watching some videos, and then just making the adjustments. It's just an over-the-shoulder thing. I go through everything. I talk about what to look for in offers, what to look for in networks, how to set up a campaign, how to spy on your competition, how to figure out what keywords are going to work for you. It saves you a lot of time, a lot of money. Where to go to find offers, where to go to find networks, how to talk to them, how to get approved. There's a lot. I wish this course was around when I was starting. That's the way I look at it. I built this course out because when I got started, it was a huge mystery. And I had to spend $5,000 on a course, not $500, to discover like, okay, I get it, but this isn't for me. So kind of a low entry point, I think, and huge opportunities, especially when you're working with us like at Palo. and you get access to a lot of the better offers and so forth. It just makes your life a lot easier. Anyway, with that being said, we're pushing 40 minutes now. I've just rambled, and I think I got my audio problems squared away, so that's cool. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me for the last 40 minutes or so. Happy Monday. If you have any questions, comments, leave them in the comments section down below. I'll answer them. Yeah, if you got any tips, let me know. I'd be happy to hear from you. If you have any questions, again, yeah, like I said, just hit me up. And, I kind of look at this from the hero's journey perspective. I'm just a normal guy who kind of started his journey in pay-per-call marketing, or in marketing in general, affiliate marketing in general, and kind of ended up here. And I feel like, being able to kind of document and share my process, and then at the same time, maybe help a few people along the way, makes it all worthwhile, because, yeah, it's great being able to make some money on the side, a few extra hours a week, and just feel safe and secure, and building up, a cash reserve. It's incredibly important in this day and age. Like, if you're not doing that, if you don't have a side hustle that's making you a few bucks on the side passively, man, I hate to say it, but it's like, if people aren't doing that this day and age, you need to compensate for you just need to overcompensate for the screwed up economic situation that we're really in. It might seem like we have it may seem like we have kind of prosperity in our economy right now, but it's really just a bubble. It's a fake bubble economy, and a recession is just right around the corner. And there's countless bubbles that are just waiting to explode. Student loan debt, credit debt, student loan debt, and then just regular credit debt, right? So unsecured debt. There's going to be another mortgage crisis. There's a corporate debt bubble. There's a lot of stuff cooking right now with the Federal Reserve lowering interest rates and quantitative easing, which is printing out more money so we can keep this crackerjack banana republic afloat. And you may be an exception if you're a successful marketing person, but talk to your friends and family and see how much money they're willing to admit they have in the bank. Not a lot of people have that extra cash laying around to avert a crisis. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck, and this crackerjack economy keeps sucking the wealth out of our bank accounts. They do it in ways that make it seem like everything's moving along just fine, but the value of your dollar keeps going down year after year after year. The more quantitative easing, the more printing of money that they do, the less value you have in your dollar. And that's why it becomes more complicated. It's why mom had to go to work, right? It's like we have dual incomes now because the dollar got so devalued that two people mom had to leave the house from being a homemaker and take care of the kids to go add more money to the bank account to keep everyday services going. You know what I'm saying? So you need to come up with these, you need to adapt and come up with these side hustles that are making you money to offset all of the bullshit that the government and the financial institutions are doing. Because at some point you're going to look at, your bank account and you're going to think, wow, I got, 20 grand sitting in it. And you're going to realize that that 20 grand isn't going to be able to pay for anything because it's not worth as much as you thought it would be. I know 20,000 seems like a lot, but there was a day when a candy bar was 10 cents. Now I was at Home Depot and they're $2. Same candy bar. Nothing's changed, except for the value of the dollar has gone down so much that what used to be 10 cents is now $2. So think about that. Find your side hustle. Get it going. Maybe it's this. Maybe it'll take a year or two. Maybe you won't be successful right off the bat in this business. I know I wasn't. I don't think anybody is. You have to learn. It takes experience. There's a knowledge account. You need to build up that knowledge account, and that's by buying courses and just being, just being in the know. So whether it's hanging out and doing, listening to me talk about pay-per-call or some other podcast that talks about marketing or so forth, you're in the know. You're growing your knowledge account, but you're never going to grow your profit account until you deplete your experience account. I guess that's the best way to say it. So you got to spend money, and you want to grow your experience, but in order to grow your experience, you got to apply that knowledge, and you got to spend money. And you're going to lose money because that's part of growing. You got to figure out why you're losing money and fix those problems, and you got to learn the hard way. The knowledge it helps you kind of reduce the amount of money you're going to burn, and it could take 6 months, it could take 9 months. Some people it may never happen. And call only might not be for you. You might be into something else. You might want to go check out Malin Darris's website. He does Mad Society, and he's all about native advertising, and he'll take you through natives step by step in his forum. It's $100 a month. You can spend $100 and just get everything you want out of that forum. I found it to be too hard for me. I found it just to be like too many moving parts. There's not only dealing with this constant like incestual kind of ripping off of each other's like campaigns and so forth, but you have like third-party tracking software, and then you got things to make that even more simple. You're launching campaigns, and you're trying to keep up with competitors that are ripping you off, and offers going down. Somehow those guys, I don't know, they get their systems and their processes in place, and they make tons of money. But the best that I can do is like, negative 20 ROI, 20% ROI. It's like never ever have I walked away and said, man, I just crushed that native campaign. Never. So, but you'd be completely different, because I know people that do well in natives but can't make a call only campaign work to save their lives. So it just depends on who you are and what your strategy is. Again, I think if you're a Google Ads person per se, especially if you're just looking at the call only side, you're a data analyzer. Your whole thing is like, how well can you analyze data and optimize that data to make some level of profitability. And you can enter in some ad copy tweaks. We're always split testing ads anyway, right? Trying to get a better CTR and higher ad ranks, so our quality scores goes up and stuff like that. But we're not out there trying to change elements on the landing page. We're not paying attention to like the 10 elements that every landing page needs to have, and the headline and the subheadline, and then like the little seal approvals and the testimonials and obvious call to action, very clear, and only have one. We're not thinking about that as call only publishers. We're thinking about the data. We're looking at what the data looks like when it comes in, how well we're tracking our conversions, and what can we do to kind of optimize our way to some level of profitability. And that's it. So anyway, with that being said, check out the description. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Still working on updating and upgrading these things. I got another camera right here. What's up? We got a camera here. I just don't use it. Yeah. Hey, thanks for hanging out. Smash that subscribe button and poke that bell. I think that's what you're supposed to say, right? Anyway, take it easy. Good hearing from you. Peace in the Middle East, and stay out of